Hello, everyone. Chris Santiago with MMA Islands. Today, we're joined by the fastest gun in the South, top prospect John Hollywood Sweeney, riding a six-fight win streak. Hollywood, how's it going today?
Man, I can't complain at all, brother. It's going good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're a few days out from your last fight against Ary Farias. What could you make of that performance? How do you feel about it?
Man, I feel great with a performance like that against a seven-time jiu-jitsu world champ. Out grappled him. Man, that just builds crazy confidence going into any future fight with a jiu-jitsu guy, wrestler, or whatever.
Well, heading into the fight with Farias, man, a lot of people thought you were going to stand and bang with him, but you ended up beating him at his own game in terms of the grappling. Was that the game plan going with this fight?
Nah, man, the game plan was to stand up with him and just stuff takedowns, but he had some slick entries and he took me down a couple of times but I felt very comfortable on the ground and I was piecing him up in a couple of spots and I was like, well, and if he and, then, and he also laid on his back a lot, so I was like, all right, if you're gonna stay here and let me punch you in the face, I'm confident in my jiu-jitsu, so I knew the fight could go like that, and if I just stayed disciplined and stayed basic, I could pretty much ground and pound them and piece them up, and that's what happened, man. I wanted to stand up a little bit more, but uh, it. Honestly, I'm even happier with how much grappling we did.
For sure, man. And yeah, I believe the first round, if I remember correctly, I believe you lost the first round, but you came back in rounds two and three. What adjustments did you have to make after that opening round?
Well, he was just very fresh. We both were, and we were dry. So once he took me down and he got me in his best position, I mean, when we were early, when we were both dry and fresh, I fought him off. And once the blood got going and I kind of warmed up and the sweat got going, I knew it would be hard for him to hold me in those spots. So I didn't really make much adjustments. I believe, and he carries a lot of muscle, man. And I did a lot of cardio for this fight, so I knew in the later rounds I would have the advantage because I figured that I would gas him out a little bit. He would be trying so hard to submit me, and that's kind of what happened. And during the first round, I connected with some solid body shots before the round ended. I reversed the position in the first round and I kind of felt I took some wind from him. So during that second round, I could tell he was a little gas. He tried to take me down. I hit a switch on him and continued to strike and take his wind. And when you get hit in the face, people don't realize you get hit in the face, man. That makes you tired too. So I just kept connecting with shots and shots and shots, and just kept draining his energy. And I knew he would fatigue before I would.
hmm Were you excited to show this new aspect of your game? I mean, we see you as a striker, known for your knockouts, known for your power, but were you kind of excited just to show this the new improvements in your game and to show to the world that you are a well-rounded fighter?
Oh yeah, I'm always trying to show my whole arsenal. Like I've been training jujitsu since I was 16, 17. I was wrestling since I was 12. So it's not really new, but it's just something that I don't show too much of. I like to strike, and people know I like to knock people out, and that's fun to me. When you knock someone out, man, there's no greater feeling in the world than knocking somebody out. But I got a deep bag of tricks, man, and people don't realize I got great grappling and great jiu-jitsu as well. So when I get to show my whole set of skills, I love it. So I I wouldn't say it's new, but I definitely work to improve everything every day. So I love showing everything.
hmm And now you're like 6-0 in your last six fights, man. I mean, three fights ago, you told me you were born to be in the UFC. So after a fight like
Yeah.
that, do you feel like it's a cherry on top to get you that UFC contract soon?
Oh yeah, man. I think I'm right there, knocking on the door. I think I think that's the fight, man. That gets me in. Like I just beat a seven-time jiu-jitsu world champ. A lot of people are scared to fight this guy, and especially to go to the ground with him. And I'm an exciting striker, and And now that they see they can't just hold me down, you can't just try to out grapple me and think you're gonna win a boring fight like that. I make all my fights exciting, and if they love Wonder Boy and if they seen that last fight, man, I'm just they to have me in the UFC would be I would be blessed. It'll be a privilege, but man, I fit right in, and I'll be a fan favorite for sure.
How cool would it be for you to share a card with your guy Wonderboy over there in the UFC?
Man, that's a dream, dog. That right there, man, that would be so amazing. And hopefully, God willing, that happens here soon. But that would be word. I couldn't even put into words how crazy that would be. But man, that would be awesome.
hmm I picture it right now. You got Sweeney in the co-main event of like UFC South Carolina. That would be cool, man. And like talking about Wonder Boy, what'd you make of his last fight? Honestly, it was one of my favorite fights of the year. I just want to get your thoughts on it.
Man, I think Wonder Boy looked amazing, super aggressive. Um, dude, he's to, to be doing it for as long as he has. He looks super fast, fast as he's ever looked. He looks nice and strong, lean. Man, he looked amazing. I think people are trying to count him out, but man, that fight right there, I think he's still getting better, man. The guy's like wine. He gets better and better. And he's still improving. He's getting faster. His striking is getting better. He's getting more aggressive. I think um I think he's still improving, and that fight right there, I think showed it.
hmm And when it comes to you, man, I feel like a lot of people, it's not if you signed up to UFC, it's more like when you signed to UFC. So, if you were to get that UFC call soon, is there any dream fights that you like to have for your debut or maybe some down the line? Any names?
Um, Man, I would love to fight so many people. I would like to fight O'Malley, Peter Yan. I would like to fight all the top guys, but for a debut, man, the LFA champion, the 135 champ, they say he's moving up to the UFC. I think that would be perfect. If I couldn't fight him for the belt for LFA, I think a perfect fight would be me and him debut on a undercard or on a prelim, on a prelim bout. Me versus the ex LFA 135 champ, and I think that would be a perfect match right there.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And how many fights would you like to get? I mean, obviously, you kicked off 2023 with a banger, man. But how many wins would you like to get this year?
I would at least like to do four more fights, if
Wow,
possible. Four
it's
more.
incredible.
If I can't do four, at least three. You know. But if I'm being realistic, like that would be perfect. That's a perfect world, for three more fights. But if realistically, at least minimum two more.
Awesome, awesome.
Minimum
Can't
two more
can't wait to see him, man. I believe
fights.
before making the walk to the LFA cage, I believe the commentators said that, your fighting style looks like it comes from like a kung fu movie. That being
Oh,
said, I gotta ask you, what's your favorite kung fu movie of all time?
Man, my favorite of all time. That's a great question. Damn. If I had to go with favorite of all time, it might be Unbox or Imp Man One.
Yes,
Probably Imp
I
Man One.
agree. I agree with you. That one's my
Yes,
favorite
sir.
of all
That's
time, I think.
Imp Man One.
That's good, man. That's
Yeah,
good. And when it comes to working with Ray Thompson, Wonderboy over there, like, do you try to implement? I mean, obviously you have the Thompson karate style, but is there any other styles that you try to implement, like Wing Chun or Kung Fu or anything like that?
well, I watch a shit ton of anime. I watch a shit ton of how do I end this call? Hold on. I'm not even gonna touch it.
Yeah,
Can you
you're
still hear
still
me?
good. Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I'm not even gonna touch the call. So my favorite, I mean, yeah. So like I said, I watch a bunch of anime, and I watch all those movies, man. But um, to say I really train it, I don't really train it, but I imitate it. I can watch. Like man, I can see him move and do it. Really, not maybe not perfect, but pretty damn good. So I like to watch and I implement it in my game when I can, and I kind of train it on the bag a little bit. We have a thing called a maki where you punch and harden your fist and kicks. And I kind of like mess around with it sometimes doing like little techniques I seen. So I do sometimes, but normally when I do that, I'm just doing bag work by myself and stuff like that. Or in sparring. Like in sparring, I'll mess around with the guys and do little things from things I seen. But actually like training it with in the with partners and like drilling it back and forth, not really. That's more I do that more when I'm like freestyling on the bag or like freestyling and sparring.
Awesome, man. And I believe you touched up on anime, just a minute ago. So I got to ask you, what are your top three favorite animes of all time?
Of all time,
Yeah.
uh, Dragon Ball Z for sure, number one. Um, Naruto Shippuden, number two, and number three has to be Baki. That's a
Ooh,
newer one, but
Baki. That's a
I
good
love
one.
Baki.
Yeah,
Yes,
man. And
sir.
any update on the Gorilla Man anime series that you told me about a couple of
Oh,
years ago?
not yet, not yet. I guess I got to get a little bit more famous.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And hopefully, that UFC call comes sometime soon, and we'll get that series in the
Yeah,
works for
yeah.
sure.
Exactly, exactly.
Awesome, man. I think that's all the questions I had for you, Hollywood. I just want to thank you again for the time. Is there anything that
Thank
you want
you,
to say to
brother.
the fans out there watching?
I love you all. Thank you all for supporting me. And this is just started, baby. This is just the beginning. I'm about to when I get that call, man, I'm gonna be a force to be reckoned with in the UFC, and I'm gonna put on exciting fights every time, and I'm just ready to just continue this climb, baby.